The entry point community is full of popular misconceptions, and I felt the need to address some of them. Anyway, here are 10 misconceptions in entry point. Number 1. The Ergo Grip is the best grip. If you look at the attachments in-game, then you'll see that the Ergo Grip decreases spread while the stubby grip seemingly does nothing. However, if you actually check the wiki, then you'll see that the stubby grip has a more useful ability, which is why it's the best grip overall. The exception is the CBRC, which is generally better with the angled grip. Number 2. The Freelancer Heists. This expansion is called the Freelancer Heists, not the Freelancer Heists. This is a fairly minor thing, but it's just a very common typo. Number 3. Stealth is canon. Ever since the deposit was released, there's been a debate as to whether loud or stealth is canon. However, with the exception of the missions that are loud or stealth only, there's no reason to believe that either game mode is definitively canon, since neither loud nor stealth is contradicted by anything else in the story. Thus, a correct answer doesn't really exist for most missions, and I suppose both game modes are canon. Number 4. Rivera alive is canon. In Rivera's lock code, she's classified as missing in action instead of killed in action, which some have interpreted as meaning that Rivera canonically survives the scientist. However, as the Shadow confirmed, missing in action doesn't mean alive, it just means that Halcyon never found the body. Thus, there isn't any objectively correct answer as to whether Rivera lives or dies in the scientist. Number 5. Entry point YouTubers are the best players. This is something that I've seen a lot, especially when fans dare me to do impossibly hard challenges. I would consider myself a good EP player, and I'm better than most people, which allows me to make guides. However, I'm definitely a long way from being the best player, and I feel like most of the well-known YouTubers are in a similar situation. Number 6. The Freelancer and or Rose actually survived. Rebuttal: no they didn't. The SCRS lock code clearly documents Rose's death, while the dialogue in the 2020 Halloween hit list event offers confirmation for the Freelancer's death. Number 7. The Freelancer is a traitor. There's actually no evidence that the Freelancer was a double agent during their time in Halcyon. Yes, they were friends with Rose, but Rose played along like a normal Halcyon operative without revealing any Phoenix intel. In other words, the Freelancer was loyal to Halcyon, and they assumed that Rose was loyal too. What probably happened is that when Halcyon realized that Rose was a traitor, they suspected that the Freelancer might be a traitor and decided to take them out just in case, which explains why they're so confused about everything in Dedication. Number 8. Rose is loyal to Phoenix. It's not entirely clear what Rose's motivations are, but loyalty to Phoenix is definitely not the case. Actually, the evidence would indicate that she didn't like either side. For instance, she called Steel Cove to the lake house and wanted the Freelancer to walk away instead of fighting in the Shadow War. As for why she saved Jackdaw, my best guess is that it was for personal moral reasons, since he was essentially backstabbed. She probably intended for him to get away from the conflict now that he was presumed dead, but instead he insisted on revenge and dragged her along with him. Thus, she got herself into a trap where she was simultaneously working for two warlike sides, both of which would have her killed if they found out she wasn't really loyal. Again, a lot of this is up to interpretation, but there is no way she was actually loyal to Phoenix. Number 9. Unoff is pronounced as Unoff. So, my username is Unofficial, but if you shorten it, it's actually supposed to be pronounced Unoff, not Unoff. I don't know why I decided on this, but I've always said it that way, and I guess it's the official pronunciation now. Number 10. Entry point is just Roblox Payday. A lot of people think that EP is just a Roblox ripoff version of Payday 2, but I don't think that's fair. There's certainly a decent amount of inspiration, but EP is different enough to be its own thing, and the story and gameplay experience are totally different. When I first played Payday 2, I had almost no idea what to do or how to play despite having years of experience with EP, which shows that EP gameplay is far from being a copy of Payday 2. Anyway, if you're 13 or older, then I would recommend joining my Discord server, which is linked in the description below. It's the #1 EP server and it's the best place to hang out with the rest of the community. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.